is Janet Jordy at Global Inspiration, where you need to be seen, need to be heard, and be an inspiration to the world. Our guest this week cringes when I ask her to describe herself based on her resume, and she wants and she prefers to be introduced as a woman, a lawyer, and a mother of four because she firmly believes that what she has done in the past, the present, and the future are based on this description. She is Angela Librado, Trinidad. She's the Philippine Labor Attaché to United States and Caribbean islands. As a woman, she advocates for women's rights and women empowerment. She has been a member of Davao City Council for 9 years under the leadership of the then mayor and now President Duterte. She authored legislations that became laws, and these legislation are focused on gender inequalities that, and also for violence against women and girl children and women's health and reproductive clinic. She was also a barangay captain. As a lawyer, she handled primarily cases of women physically abused, psychologically, and economically. In 2010, she co-founded Women in Law, a firm focused on legally advocating for rights of women and girl children. As a labor attaché, she affirms being all this, a woman, a lawyer, and a mother of four, carry the voice of OFW or Overseas Filipino Workers. Ladies and gentlemen, let's all welcome Attorney Angela Librado, Trinidad. Good afternoon, Attorney Angela Librado. Global Inspiration is so honored to have you today as our guest as the Philippine Labor Attaché. But today, we will not be talking about your position. We will be talking with you as a woman, as a lawyer, and as a mother of four. And thank you very much for having you as our guest today.
Thank you, Janet, and thank you for Global Inspiration for inviting me. It is my honor indeed to be invited in a program that seeks to inspire others, especially our women.
Thank you very much. So, where are you from in Davao? Where are you from in the Philippines?
Well, I am from Davao. I hail from the city where our President Duterte lives, and I'm very proud of it.
Okay, thank you very much. So, you are now in the United States of America. Can you please tell the viewers where are you, what state and what city are you, where are you from?
Temporarily, I am now in the United States, working, and I am with my family, and we are residing in Maryland because my work basically is in Washington, D.C.
Okay. So how long have you been in America?
We arrived in January of 2018. It was winter when we arrived, and I am here for a 5-year term, hopefully. But because of the nature of our work, we can be recalled anytime, but we can never be extended. So I haven't even unpacked some of my bags yet.
Yeah, that's okay. So you've been here for more than 2 years. And
Correct.
when I ask you to introduce yourself, and you're one of the most humble people that I've known. And you told me that, Janet, you introduced me as a woman, a lawyer, and a mother of four. And as a woman, I know you've been advocating for women's equality and empowerment of women, not only in the Philippines, but now in America. Can you talk more about this?
Thank you, Janet. I just feel that since you are a woman, you don't need to be special. You just need to be yourself, because the best advocates for a particular issue or of a particular case or of a particular concern is one who belongs to that sector herself. So I think as women, it is inherent in us to carry our ideals, make known our dreams as a sector and as individuals. And I think that basically there's nothing extraordinary about me, but there is definitely something that is extraordinary about the women's causes that we carry.
Thank you. So when we hear the word librado in Davao City, Philippines, we know they are politicians. I know in 1980s, your mom, was that your mother or your father, both of them are in the political arena.
So can you share with the viewers your political experience in the Philippines?
I do not want to claim that I'm an accidental politician because,
Mhm.
as you said, I belong to a family of uh, personalities who are in politics.
Mhm.
But I have to say that, of course, for all the people of Davao City, they know the brand of politics that we carry.
Correct.
And since then, I have been exposed to that brand of politics, and it is not by accident. It is not also by choice, but I think it is by circumstance that I got involved in politics. First as a Sangguniang Kabataan chairperson in 1992. And
Exactly.
then I was eventually invited by the president, then Mayor Duterte, to join his slate in 2001, and the rest is history.
So I'm so proud of you being in the politic arena because I know you are so humble and so honest, and most of the people in the politics are not. I'm sorry to tell you that, but I'm not because I've experienced it. I know you as a labor attaché. You came here in America, tagging along your whole family, your four kids and your husband. And being the Philippine labor attaché, I understand that the application was evaluated by the Commission on Civil Service, I think, and it was also you were appointed by the department head, which in your case is the Department of Labor and Employment. My question is: you have four kids, you have a stressful job. How do you manage to have a very smooth transition?
Well, it's not smooth at all. I think if there was one thing that I have prepared my family for, is for us, all of us, to live independently. I have in the Philippines, we never had any help from yayas or somebody who would take care of our children. A lot of our colleagues in the legal profession would see me carrying my babies in the court, and
Mhm.
the court that my children have grown up with is not the basketball court or any court, but the court that is in Davao City, where I usually hold my hearings. So that's it. I think it's smooth in that particular phase, but of course you will never be prepared for something that is new, a culture that is very alien to us. Although we've seen that on TV,
Mhm.
my kids were exposed to what it is to be in America through the movies and through their vacations, but it is actually very different if you're living it. So the most stressful for my family is to be able to transition from one house to another during our
Correct.
first few days.
Correct.
So we had to live with that.
Yeah. When I moved to America, it took 2 years. Can always find me, even though I was working, homesick. And during my time that I moved to America, we don't have Facebook. We have Yahoo, and we don't have this Zoom. So you call your mom, and it's not enough. You want to go home every day because you miss so much the food and the culture. Coming from a developing country, the Philippines, to the one, not the one, but is the most powerful country in the world. So Attorney Trinidad, we know that you are now the Philippine Labor Attaché. Can you share with us what is the responsibility or the duties to be a Philippine Labor Attaché?
Thank you, Janet. It is the position itself actually calls for the labor attaché taking care of all the needs of the overseas workers, the migrant workers. But basically, the office has been put up in at least 36 areas all over the world, primarily to make sure that if our workers decide to go abroad,
Mhm.
their rights are protected through the contracts of employment. We make sure that their contracts of employment just comply with the minimum requirements of both our laws, the Philippine laws, and the laws of the host country. So that's the main function that the Philippine labor attaché has, making sure that when they go out, they can work confidently, hopefully, and work comfortably when they are abroad.
So it's a position with a lot of task to do. And I understand you have your 4 kids, you have a husband, and you have your parents and your sisters. Sometimes they visit you because I see you on Facebook. I saw the photos. So how do you? It's a very for me. It's a stressful job. Not stressful in a sense that you lose your mind, but how do you manage your time, considering you're a mother, you're a daughter, you know? So how do you do that?
Janet, at this point, I have to really give due course and due recognition to my partner, my husband,
That's good.
who is not only a partner but who understands what a woman is and what a woman is in her role in the world. That she does not only have to take care of kids, she has to be in all places where policy making and decision making should be. So I think that's one thing that I have. I have a very supportive and a husband and one who truly understands what the role of a woman is, and she's not confined to the 4 corners of her house. Second, as I mentioned, my kids have been living independently. I've been very independent since we were in the Philippines, so they have been managing on their own.
Okay.
Taking care of their needs, and even they know how to cook, and they know how to clean. No? So that's it. And the job that I do, I think basically because I love doing it.
Okay.
I think
That's good.
that's the key. That's the key point there, that you have to know that your job is your life, and there is nothing more that you would want to do in your life but do this. And that's serving others, and not only serving others but working with them as well.
So I understand that your kids, I salute, by the way, I salute your husband for being supportive of us. And even my friends are asking me, how do you do all these jobs and all these priorities? How do you do that? Because if you don't have, if they think that women, we, the wives, are strong, I consider our husband to be stronger because they were able to balance, you know, our strength. You mentioned before that your kids miss the Philippines a lot. They miss their friends, they miss their family. So if I ask you, give me 2 things that you miss most in the Philippines, what would that be?
I miss my family, my siblings more particularly, because I can really depend on them any time of the day. I can ask them to watch my kids whenever I would want
Correct,
to watch a
correct.
movie. And second, of course, the food. I would try to replicate them here in the US, but you could just imagine, I mean, how difficult it is to be here when you see that the garlic that you're using in America is are very large,
Yeah,
and the onions are very large,
exactly,
and
exactly,
they don't taste the same.
exactly.
So the food, the what we call in Davao City sinugba, the most basic food that we cook in the Philippines,
Yeah.
they are really things that I would miss the most.
Yeah. So talking about food, the first time, you know, the second time that I brought my son again to the Philippines, we butcher or we had a chicken, Visayan chicken, native chicken. And he used to eat the broiler one. And he told me, what kind of chicken is that? That is really good. That is tasty. Because even though we have eggplants here, you have to go to the Asian store because the eggplants here in America are round and they don't taste the same. I agree with you. I agree with you. So going back to being the labor attaché, can you mention or can you share with the viewers the 2 accomplishments that you consider and the 2 challenges being the Philippine labor attaché?
Thank you, Janet. I I came in at the time when I guess there are a lot of Filipinos who have lost their trust in government,
Mm-hmm.
probably because there is the lack of it or the absence of care that they are expecting. And one of the challenges I was facing when I came in was on how to gain their trust and to make them feel that the government under President Duterte and us who are serving with him are actually genuinely listening to what they have to say, and not only listen to what they have to say, but to work towards accomplishing what they would want us to accomplish with respect to their issues and concerns. So I remember one time when I was trying to introduce myself just to a group of Filipinos, and they were so cold. And my first reaction was to ask myself, why are they doing this? Are they not acknowledging that I am also a Filipino? But then I came to realize that because of the experience that they have, asking for help, and maybe at one point they have not been helped, or they have not even been responded to.
Correct.
So it was really very difficult. That's one challenge that I really thought was very frustrating and very challenging at the same time.
Correct.
And I think the accomplishment with respect to that, we have been carrying this tagline, reaching out to deliver services for you. If you would notice, it's RODI. It's after President Duterte's name. We would want to bring the Philippine government and the labor office closer to the people. And I hope we were able to do that by going to them, reaching out to them to different media, visiting them physically whenever it was possible. And now, because of the pandemic, and if there is only one thing that's positive about the pandemic, is that we could reach them anywhere, and we could mount meetings with them any time of the day, because we could do that through Zoom meetings. So I am hoping that this is one accomplishment that our office has been able to do, bringing Philippine government and the services that we can give closer to them, and making them feel that we are not just here to listen to them, but we are here to work with them.
We are so blessed having you as the Philippine Labor Attaché, because your heart belongs to the Filipino people. I have so many friends who are Filipino, our brothers and sisters. So can you name can you share with the viewers 2 or 3, maybe just one, projects that you're working right now, and how can we support being Filipinos to the success of that project?
Thank you, Janet. I think you've mentioned at one point that you are into this campaign against trafficking and for women empowerment, and we are very much into that. In fact, this November, we will be launching a series of activities, one of which is a webinar on violence against women. It's a campaign that we have been launching since 2018, because we know that there are some of our Filipinos who either are afraid to come out, or who are too embarrassed to admit to everyone that they need to be helped. Just last week, we have received complaints of those who have been granted K1 or spouse visas who have been abused again by their partners. And this is one thing that we would want to really focus on, making sure that our Filipinos, including our migrant workers in the Caribbean islands, are helped. And second, we are also into institutionalizing standards for our labor, for our workers. Hopefully, and fingers crossed, we might be able to come up with labor agreements with some of our Caribbean islands, so that our standards are at least proximate to the standards of those in the Caribbean islands. But I'm not saying that their standards are not good. They are actually as good as ours, but we want to make sure that we are in unity with all the standards that we would want to set in with respect to our workers.
Thank you very much, Attorney Angie Librado. Just letting you know, don't hesitate to approach me if the Madison or the Wisconsin state need your support on how to make those projects a success. You are a very strong woman. You are very smart. You are one of the humblest people that I've known. Can you share with us an inspiration, a person who served you as an inspiration?
This is a bit ironical, but I have to admit that my inspiration is my father, who is a male.
Yeah.
He was the reason why I became a lawyer. He was the reason, because he was a union leader before he became a councilor. He was the president of the Bank of Philippine Islands in Davao City Union. And it is also because of him that I became interested in labor issues and in doing labor work. When I became a lawyer, also handled a lot of pro bono cases for labor, and I continued doing so before I became a labor attaché. And now I'm here. Hopefully, and I hope, hopefully, I will be able to at least, not much, but proximate the what my father has had gained and had reached during his time. And the only regret I had then was not being able to listen to all his advice and to go with him during his negotiation so that I could learn better. So I think he is one of the persons that who inspired me the most.
Yeah. Just letting you know that when I know that I will be interviewing you, I did research on your father. And the more I know your father, the more I was teary-eyed because I personally was neglected by our father. He abandoned us. And here is a man who is not only to, his heart doesn't only belong to his family, but to all the people that needs his heart. He's a people person. And I was telling my mom, this person is very inspirational and you're lucky to be his daughter. So I want to ask you, this will be the final question. Can you give an inspirational thoughts to our brothers and sisters, the Filipinos, and also the people, the Americans who are, and all the races who are in America? Can you do that?
That's a tall order, but I will try my best. If I may, I would like to share my thoughts about people in government and my fellow public servants, if I may. The work that we do, it's not an honor. It's an honor truly, but I think we could do more and do best if we decide finally that we are here to work with the people we're serving and not only to work for them. There's a big difference between the two. When you work for them, you might decide to put all your ideas on the floor and just decide that this is doing work for the people. But when you are working with them, that is a decision that you make, that you will tell the people that you are working with them, willing to listen to what they have to say and implement all the things with them. So that's one. Second, to all my fellow women, they keep on saying that for those women who do a lot of jobs all at the same time, we are super women. I think initially that's good, but I think they are forgetting that for the very long time we have been in that profile. That if you are a woman and do a lot of jobs, you are that superwoman. We are just being us.
Yeah.
And let us continue doing what we should be doing as a person, as a woman who belongs to your sector, represent our needs, represent our concerns, our issues, because I think that is what we will be doing the best. Acting as ourselves and feeling the things that we need to feel, because we are women and we need to air all our concerns to the public, and we need to let the public realize that we are not doing this because we are special. We are doing this because we are human beings.
Correct. So talking with you this afternoon, Attorney Angela Trinidad, it's so inspiring. I want to ask more questions, but because of the time constraint, we have to stop. But I want to talk with you more. Maybe we could have a part 2 in the future. Again, ladies and gentlemen, we are so thankful, we're so honored, and we are so privileged to have the Philippine Labor Attaché talking about being a woman, being a lawyer, and being a wife. Attorney Angela Trinidad. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Janet.